College Park, Maryland, and the Xfinity Center as we are ready for Big Ten basketball on the Big Ten Network. And we start our day with the Maryland Terrapins taking on the Peacocks of St. Peter's. Alongside Stephen Bardo, I'm Kevin Kugler. We welcome you to a little basketball action here on the Big Ten Network this afternoon. It's St. Peter's taking on Maryland today, and these starting lineups for these two teams that, as of a couple of days ago, weren't going to play. When you look at Maryland, there's a lot of guys you could talk about, Stephen, but Daryl Morcell does a little bit of everything for this Maryland team.
Yeah, I love Daryl Morcell. Started his career, Kevin, as a defensive specialist, but has rounded his game overall, has become a tremendous leader for the Terrapins.
Well, and when you look at the rest of this Maryland team, Dante Scott coming off arguably his best game in a Terrapin uniform.
Yeah, you like to see the jump from freshman to sophomore year, and Dante Scott saw what Jalen Sticks did going 10th in the draft, gave a little motivation to work on his game, and he has responded. Shooting the ball well from deep, he always has been able to get to the rim, and he's picked up his offensive output.
Speaking of picking up his offensive output, how about Eric Ayala, leading scorer on the team so far?
Yeah, he's really playing with a lot of confidence, a strong guard. He can do a little bit of everything. Learned well under the teachings of Anthony Cowan, has picked up his game on the offensive end, and Maryland has benefited.
The head coach of the Maryland Terrapins in his 10th season at the helm is Mark Turgeon. 18 consecutive winning seasons for a man who's been coach of the year in the Valley, the Big 12, and the Big Ten. Pretty nice resume.
Oh, great resume, and a great coach, and is a great relationship guy, Kevin, with his players. His players really, connect with him, and he tries to put them in position to be successful.
Well, you've got to be a relationship guy this year because you've got to sit down with your players almost every day and let them know who you're actually playing. Scheduled today was George Mason. They had to bow out because of COVID issues. 5 minutes later, St. Peter's is announced as the opponent for today's game. Flexibility is the key when you're playing basketball in 2020 and soon to be 2021. But you're going to be needing to be more than flexible today, Stephen Bardo, because St. Peter's is not exactly a cakewalk.
No, you're going to have to be strong with the basketball. They were forced turnovers, as the numbers indicate, but they'll get all over the court. Sometimes it'll be 94 feet, sometimes it'll be three-quarter court. They'll trap you in the half court. They do a lot of different things to keep you off balance. They're very advantageous on the steals, so Maryland's going to have to be more than flexible. They're going to have to be very strong with the rock.
And Shaheen Holloway has brought a strength to this program. The 2020 MAAC Coach of the Year last year, former Seton Hall player, former Seton Hall assistant, and he has brought that toughness, that strength, and that ability to this program. They have gone up quickly under his tutelage.
They have, and they've hung their hat on the defensive end. It's a lot easier to make that move, Kevin, when you're defending well and giving yourselves opportunity.
St. Peter's will start it off with the basketball. Fousseyni Drame into the paint. Tough left-handed shot on the rebound by Eric Ayala.
Pretty impressive even on the miss with that balance. I thought I'd get a turnover there, but he got that shot off with no problem.
Galen Smith, a whistle and a foul is called on the handoff, and that'll be number 1 on Maryland and the first on Galen Smith.
I think Galen Smith has been a little bit of a surprise for Maryland in terms of, if you compare his numbers to Alabama, Kevin, as opposed to what he's done here. He's already reached a career high in scoring with the Terrapins, so it's a good revelation so far.
Yeah, graduate transfer from Alabama, only averaged 3 points per game last year, already at 7.5 points per game this season. He has had a terrific start, 12 points against Navy, double figures in one of his first 3 games as St. Peter's takes the early lead and now can apply that pressure.
See, Maryland has to be strong with the basketball. They have an advantage. You talk about Hakeem Hart, Morcell, and Eric Ayala on the floor all at the same time can break pressure.
Jarius Hamilton into the corner for Hakeem Hart. Back it goes. Hamilton left alone for the 3, and it pinballs out into the arms of Dallas Watson. Watson going end to end. Nobody stopping the ball. The offensive rebound won't go for Drame, and Maryland gets it back.
Terrapins fortunate that time, Kevin. 2 good looks at the rim for St. Peter's.
Here's Ayala. On the baseline, using his strength, a little muscle, a little groan at the end as he gets Maryland on the board.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of chirping going on, little pleasantries exchanged between Ayala and Matthew Lee. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Daryl Banks. Here's Matthew Lee, Steven just mentioned. Trying to get it into the block, and that's a turnover. Poked away from KC Ndefo. And Maryland back to work on the offensive end.
This is what Eric Ayala can do. He's matched up against a slightly bigger opponent, but he uses quickness to cause that turnover there. Nice job by Ayala.
Now he'll have work to do against Ndefo on the other end. Ndefo, the MAAC Defensive Player of the Year last year, so he can hold his own in any defensive battle.
No doubt about it. A little undersized forward, but he's going to battle.
And that's Galen Smith going to work on Ndefo, and Smith with his first bucket.
This is what I like Mark Turgeon did today. He started Hamilton, and he started Galen Smith. So they have a size advantage that they want to take advantage of early, and they're doing that.
And the foul is going to be called against Maryland's Daryl Morsell. That'll be his first. Second team foul on the Terrapins. Just underway at Xfinity Center. Good to have you with us. A little Friday afternoon Big Ten basketball. In 2020, there's never a bad time for basketball.
That's right.
Three well short. Ayala will start it up the other way. Ayala driving past the defense all the way to the rim for a pair.
Great change of speed that time by Ayala. He was in third gear, went to fourth. Got that little burst to get past the D. Strong enough to finish.
Dallas Watson looking to work for St. Peter's. This is Ndefo. Lost the handle on the ball, able to get it back, and then throws it out of bounds.
Eric Ayala, Kevin, watching, he's surveying the court, and boom. Puts the afterburners on, gets all the way to the rim, recognizing St. Peter's doesn't have a traditional shot blocker at the rim, so there will be opportunities in the paint.
Love watching guys who understand how a change of pace can impact your offensive game. As that three falls, and Maryland with a 9-2 lead. Hakeem Hart with the three, and it's 9-2. And I know you know this, Steven, because not only you were that kind of guy, but you played with some guys who were really good at using differing speeds to impact the defense.
It's a sign of maturity too, Kevin, when you see players like that. Typically freshmen will be real sped up and everything. Look at Ayala, he was up. He recognized Drama is not going to be able to stay with him foot speed, so he makes Drama relax, and then boom, he puts it in fourth gear, gets all the way to the rim. Eric Ayala showing you the maturity in his game.
Well, that's one of the things that Mark Turgeon needed from some of his guys. With no Cowan, with no Smith, you lost Ricky Lindo, Sorrell Smith, Joshua Tomajic, all three transferring. Somebody had to step up, and one of those guys has been Eric Ayala, who said, I'm trying to be more vocal. I'm trying to be a guy who leads out there. And one way you can lead is by example, by doing great things on the court.
I agree, and I think that Mark Turgeon has made this team be really solid defensively, and that allows them to kind of settle in to their offensive roles. But that length on the perimeter with Morsell, Ayala, Hakeem Hart, they're all 6'5" or greater, so that's a tough matchup for any team.
Bounce to Ndefo. Ndefo will put it on the deck, trying to drive against Galen Smith, and the personal foul is called. That'll be number 2 on Galen Smith, third team foul. Maryland, at least early, appears to have some depth to be able to withstand a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, you know, Mark Turgeon generally doesn't like to go past 8 players, right? But, you know, with COVID and with the way that they've had to switch their schedules out, they need to develop depth, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, by last year, you really could watch a Maryland game and expect to see 6 or 7 at most in that rotation. And Mark Turgeon was fine with that, as he usually is. If, you know, you give me some guys I can trust on the floor, and you'll get your playing time.
That's right. And this year, though, with like we just talked about, and the fact that they've got some, we talked about Jarius Hamilton, we talked about Galen Smith, now Dante Scott is playing much better. So Mark Turgeon has a little bit more confidence to go deeper into that rotation.
Ayala will bring it up for a couple of free throw misses from Ndefo. Maryland with the early 9-2 lead. Dante Scott kicks it back out. Hakeem Hart's second three falls. And Hart pacing the Terrapins, 12-2 lead.
Ooh, man.
And pinned on the other end by Dante Scott. Morcell driving into the teeth of that defense, stays with it, and a travel is called. And a turnover back to St. Peter's and a timeout on the floor as Hakeem Hart leading the way for Maryland.
Well, Roman Catholic's finest. This is his second three. He's feeling good about himself. 6'6" sophomore starting to come on.
12-0 run for the Maryland Terrapins to start this ball game after the Peacocks had the first bucket and a 12-2 lead for Maryland. Not a surprise to see different names leading the way early in this one, Stephen Bardo, because this is what this team has been so far. A lot of balance and a lot of guys that can score in double figures.
I agree, and the good thing for Maryland is that any one of those guys can start, or they can rotate and come off the bench. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of size. Again, I don't think a lot of people around the Big Ten are understanding how big the Terrapins are across the board. I mean, there's no one smaller than 6'4" on that list. So when you put that kind of size and versatility, and they have the ability to 2-2-1, three-quarter court pressure, that's a nasty combination.
Oh, we're seeing Hakeem Hart. He's right in the middle of the screen there, and he pops over and grabs the basketball. He has length to go with that 6'6" frame. To the head, and Eric Ayala with a one-hand hammer. And he'll go to the line for a chance at a three-point play.
Wow, Eric Ayala. Yeah, there was some chatter going on because he's looking at the St. Peter's bench like, yeah, okay, go ahead and jump if you want to. You get put on this poster.
Let's take another look there. A Big Ten standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance.
Ooh. I don't know if you remember, Kevin, but we showed a highlight in the open. Eric Ayala going in for a layup. He looked like he blew a tire. His Michelins were good that time.
Yeah, I would say so. The tires have been fully inflated for winter driving.
There you go.
14-0 run for Maryland. What a start for the Terrapins against the Peacocks of St. Peter's. Doug Eddard, the feed inside and the finger roll for KC Ndefo, and that breaks the 14-0 spell.
And that was an excellent look by Eddard there. Finding Ndefo rolling to the basket, but that time Daryl Morcell's got to respond a little bit quicker on the switch.
Hart with 6 points and a whistle and a foul on Eddard.
Well, Eric Ayala going in strong, getting hit across the head and staying composed, coming through. Daryl Morcell, the first to congratulate him. I just like the stoic nature of it. He didn't have to say a word, just kind of look at St. Peter's bench, let him know.
Yeah, he said he's trying to be more vocal. Then they're trying to save that one, and that's an easy layup for Marty Silvera. That's layup line layup time.
Yeah, Eric Ayala, throw that out of bounds. You don't want live ball turnovers to get St. Peter's back in this game.
Quan Smart up the floor to Ayala. And a foul is going to be called on Hassan Drame, the twin brother of Fousseyni Drame. Oh, just tipped out of bounds. No foul call. It'll belong to Maryland. Sorry, Hassan Drame. Don't want to give you a foul before you get one. Quan Smart. Aaron Wiggins now looking to penetrate.
Something very subtle there. Aaron Wiggins jump stop to avoid the charge in the paint. It's good fundamentals.
Shot clock at 2. Ball loose. Turnover. Eddard ahead to Silvera. Silvera rejected and out of bounds. Quan Smart got there to swat it away.
Nice job by Quan Smart. This is very difficult to do, is to jump and not make contact and wait to the very last second and go for the block. And he's a freshman. That's great instincts.
Hassan Drame and a travel trying to work around Jarius Hamilton.
Got Fousseyni and Hassan Drame, twin brothers. Boy, can you imagine what that grocery bill was like? Twin brothers, both 6'7". I don't know if it costs more to clothe them or to feed them.
Wasn't easy either way, I know that.
That's right.
Dante Scott, a little bobble poked out of his hands by Drame. One thing we've seen from both Fousseyni Drame and Hassan Drame, they're always going after that basketball. Their hands are very active.
Yeah, this is a great test for Maryland because you're not going to really see a team in the Big Ten that plays like this, but you have to be prepared to be strong with the rock. That's always beneficial.
Ayala with the double dribble, and that'll turn it right back over to St. Peter's. So a little uneven play in this stretch for both squads.
And I think this is to be expected when you're playing a team like St. Peter's. You're going to have periods where you're taking good care of the basketball, you get to the rim, and then others where you're throwing the ball away.
There's Reese Mona on the floor. Eric Ayala getting a breather. Mona, the 6'2 senior, got his scholarship heading into this season. Placed on full scholarship, former walk-on. Silvera left that one short. Scott may have gotten a piece of that one as Hamilton will start it up the floor.
Don't be surprised if Wiggins tries to take advantage of his smaller defender.
Good work in the post from Jarius Hamilton. He had some good position early, Stephen.
He did, and Maryland is so, not lucky, but it's beneficial to have transfers, impact transfers from Power 5 conferences. Smith from Alabama, Hamilton from Boston College. They play big-time basketball. Look at Jarius Hamilton. He's too deep. If St. Peter's going to have any chance of guarding him in the post, cannot allow him to get that deep on the catch. You hear DeAndre Haynes, assistant for Maryland, calling out defensive adjustments.
And an offensive foul. Good defensive adjustment called out by DeAndre Haynes.
Good defense in terms of collapsing as the ball gets into your house. Remember DeAndre Haynes was saying that we got to protect our house. I wonder if Kevin Plank, the owner of Under Armour, got that instilled over there.
I would say there's a good chance of that.
Terrapin alum himself.
Scott with an open look from three, and that one falls. First points for Dante Scott, and Maryland with a 19-6 lead.
Scott's playing in such a great rhythm right now. Nothing's really phasing him. He's very vocal, calls out the plays.
Trying to answer the Defo. Hard off the heel as Mona grabs the rebound.
Oh, great pass.
Look ahead, finish and a foul. Jarius Hamilton will go to the line as the lead grows to 21-6.
I'd really like to see this rule changed in college, Kevin. Jarius Hamilton upset because he's not.
They're not going to give him the bucket.
No.
Foul on the floor first.
You almost penalize the offensive player for a good move. Look at that. He has a recognition to pump fake, knowing the shot blocker's going, and he's making his motion up as the contact is there.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning Larry Serrato. He's one of the best we have in the game. I'm just saying the rule, I'd like to see them give college kids the and-one opportunity.
Wiggins fouled on the shot. That foul on Daryl Banks of St. Peter's. So now to the line goes Aaron Wiggins. 4 for 5 at the stripe on this young season. Stream every Big Ten Network game on the Fox Sports app presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Download today on your smartphone, tablet, and connected devices.
You know, Aaron Wiggins, 6th man of the year last year in the conference, and a thespian in high school. The Wizard of Oz. That would be funny to see him acting in a high school play situation at 6'6".
Well, he's got his TV show that the Maryland Athletic Department runs, Anyone Can, with Aaron Wiggins. But I doubt he's dressed up as the Wizard or the Scarecrow, although maybe anyone can.
I love getting the backstory on these guys, man. Every one of these players has a really good story or something they're passionate about or some sort of family tie situation.
Looking inside, break could find nothing. Shot clock at 8 for Daryl Banks. Backs it out for three. And that's a big shot for Taraje Brake. 5 for 7 for the grad transfer from Kutztown to St. Peter's.
And that was really a good defensive possession by Maryland. You're okay by giving up a three with a hand in his face.
Timeout on the floor. And the Maryland Terrapins frustrated with that turnover, but enjoying a big lead. Good start for the Maryland Terrapins at home with a 21-9 lead over St. Peter's, 11:44 remaining in this first half. Today's State Farm State of Success is the success that we've seen from Maryland as some pretty straight shooters so far. 57% field goal percentage in the first 3 games this season. And Stephen, how about their first halves? The Navy game, 60%. A little bit better against Mount St. Mary's, 61.5% in the first half. But it's not going to top what they've done so far in this. 8 of 9, 89% from the floor in this first half for Maryland.
Yeah, they are doing exactly what they should against the smaller front line of St. Peter's. Getting it into the post. You've seen Jarius Hamilton have some success. You've seen Ayala get to the rim. Hart has a couple threes, so doing a really good job of taking high percentage shots.
89% on the day. You know, you'll win a lot of games, Stephen. This is my basketball expertise coming through. You'll win a lot of games if you shoot 89% from the floor.
Tell you what, haven't seen a team lose yet with that kind of percentage. Really haven't seen a team with that kind of percentage, but no, we can only hope.
Drame's miss, rebounded by Dante Scott. That kind of basketball knowledge, it's a wonder I've not been named head coach of some program somewhere. Just shoot 89%. Travel turns it back over to St. Peter's.
A couple turnovers for Marcel there. Well, uncharacteristic of him. He's a lot surer with the basketball, so I don't know if he's pressing a little bit. That's really the only thing that's kept St. Peter's close.
Yeah, 7 turnovers for Maryland in this first half. Drame will back it out. Saw Shoal Marial into the game for the first time today, the 7'2" sophomore from South Sudan, who had battled injuries for almost 3 years and finally starting to get healthy. And they drive right at the big man to test him. He's up for the challenge. The ball loose on the floor and a scramble for it. And the tie-up possession arrow will give it back to Maryland.
Talk about Shoal Marial. We haven't seen a lot, just like you said, Kevin, because of injuries, but Mark Turgeon told me that he is skilled. And if he can get his body to a place where he could be, you know, competitive for 10 minutes on the floor at a time, it could really make a difference for this Terrapin squad. Going right here, that's all you need to do, big fella. When you're as tall and long as Marial is, you don't necessarily have to leave the floor. Just make your opponent score over the top.
Yeah, 7 foot tall, 7'2" actually. He was over 7 foot tall as an 8th grader.
That's crazy.
And grew to 7'2", but you're right, Stephen. If he just stands under the block with his arms in the air, you're not getting anywhere.
No, and you know, if he can stay out of foul trouble and be that presence, guys naturally going to rush their shot. They're going to try to adjust because he's in there. So it's a nice weapon on the defensive end.
Made his first career start last time out, had 7 in the win over Old Dominion in the opener. So finally getting back to where Mark Turgeon said, I remember this Shoal from high school. This is the guy I remember. And that's great news because he's battled injuries, as I said, for 3 years until this season.
It's good to see guys benefit from their hard work.
And that's a foul on the inbound going against St. Peter's. Taraje Brake breaking a rule out there, much to the chagrin of Shaheen Holloway.
Well, look at this pressure. So like when Maryland makes that first pass, they appear like they're going to drop back, but they don't.
Wiggins trying to lob it into Dante Scott, a little off target with that lob. Now coming the other way, it's Kamba to the rim, and Kamba lays it in. Noah Kamba.
All right, so Maryland's got to be careful. When St. Peter's gets a open court look like that, their pressure turns up. It's like they feed off of those made layups off of turnovers. Maryland's got to be really careful here handling the rock.
8 turnovers and rising, and we haven't even played a full half of the first half. So It's something you know Mark Turgeon and his staff were concerned about coming in. One of the things that DeAndre Haynes told us the other day was we absolutely have to stay composed and handle the press and not turn the ball over against this press. And 8 turnovers later, they're still trying to figure that one out.
Well, that last turnover on Aaron Wiggins, that's really not his game. You know, he's not going to be on the move throwing an alley-oop pass off the bounce.
Now here's Maryland with this press. They have instituted a press this year because they feel like they're deep enough to do this, and the tie-up is going to keep it with St. Peter's, but that's something you're going to see a little bit from Maryland this year. Mark Turgeon likes his depth, Stephen, and DeAndre Haynes said, we put this press in because we have the depth to do it this year.
They not only have the depth, they have the backcourt size. You know, we said it earlier. Ayala 6'5", Wiggins 6'6", Morsell 6'5", Hakeem Hart 6'6". I mean, they're long, big in the backcourt. It cause a lot of problems.
Ayala back over to Wiggins, and now inside to Marial.
Oh,
that was nice, very nice with the left hand.
Oh, that's pretty. They get 2 to 3 buckets from him a game like that. Boy, Maryland can be really balanced offensively.
And a little bump at the timeline. Hakeem Hart with the foul. Let's go back to that bucket from the big man.
Well, he did his work early. When you get a foot in the paint on the catch, there's not much else you need to do. And Marial going over his right shoulder that time, putting his right shoulder into the defender, going with his left.
25-11 Maryland, 14 of those 25 points in the paint for the Terrapins. And a travel. Turnover number 8 for St. Peter's.
So we've seen Maryland 2-2-1 3/4 court back into a man. That time we saw 2-2-1 3/4 court back into a 3-2 zone with Aaron Wiggins in the middle. So again, Maryland showing a lot of versatility on the defensive end.
And is this more a scenario, Stephen, of them working on their stuff, not necessarily working on something specific for St. Peter's?
Totally. You know, with the flexibility needed with these schedule changes, they have to concentrate on their own.
Yep, your own principles mean more this year maybe than ever before, especially in the non-conference days where you're picking up a game like this one 2 days before the game.
Right.
A little runner not going to go, and Marial the rebound. And Wiggins will start it up for Maryland.
Dante Scott has an advantage on the post.
Ayala trying the 3 instead, and the Defo with the rebound.
The Defo's been a little quiet. Expect him to be a little bit more aggressive here in the last 8 minutes of this half.
Here's Drame in the corner, and Fousseyni Drame, who was 5 for 8 from deep in the first 3 games, hits one here. On the attack, Dante Scott, he'll back it out. The 3 up and down, and the answer comes from Hakeem Hart.
Boy, St. Peter's has got to be frustrated. They worked so hard, trying to come up with a stop. You got your 4-man putting the ball on the deck, reverse pivot, kicking out for an open 3. That's tough to defend.
About 11 first-half points for Hakeem Hart. And Maryland going the other way. Long pass ahead to Ayala. Ayala patient but left it short. And there's going to be a whistle and a foul. And a timeout on the floor. Maryland in control early in this first half at Xfinity Center. Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. One of the rising young assistants in the game of college basketball is DeAndre Haynes, Kent State player, Kent State assistant, Toledo assistant. He was then on the bench with Big Ten Network's own John Beilein from 2017 to 2019. Now, of course, on the bench for the Maryland Terrapins. We were talking with him the other day, Stephen Bardo, and he mentioned that they put the press in, and I said, you know, how's it working so far? He goes, well, they turned me over 3 times in practice, and, you know, he goes, I'm still young enough, I've still got some game. And he says, and I said, well, that doesn't sound great. And he said, well, look, we played Wednesday. I could have gotten a 10-day with the way I played on Wednesday.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. And you know what? He said he was, some of the guys are so upset he did well. Jarius Hamilton after practice wanted to go one-on-one and kind of slow him down. I love that. That's the benefit of having younger coaches that played professional ball and had great success in college to come back. And, you know, when you guys think you think you're something, let me dust off the shoes, come back out here and show you what I can do.
A couple of coaches, head coaches in the Big Ten, I think, can still do that. You see it out of Fred Hoiberg at Nebraska every once in a while. He'll go out and just fire about 9 threes up to remind his guys he was a pretty good shooter.
That's right.
He's got DeAndre Haynes out there lacing them up and going one-on-one with some of these young guys after practice.
I'm sure if Juwan Howard got a Ben Gay rub down, he could get back out there as well.
Nadefo rejected. Maryland going the other way. Hamilton didn't look like he really felt comfortable leading that break, but Mario with the block looked very comfortable.
Every time you see Mario make a play, his confidence seems to go up. Nadefo really aggressive, but big fella not having it.
And you like to see him move like that, especially with all the, you never know with big guys and leg trouble, Steven. And he has had surgery. He has gone through rehab stint after rehab stint. To be out there moving like that, that's got to be encouraging to Mark Turgeon and the rest of the staff.
For sure. And, you know, for a guy that they don't need him to do a lot, but he's so long that he can really change the nature of games. And so maybe not in this game it's going to make a huge difference, but believe me, in Big Ten play, he's going to be key, having to come in and make plays maybe against a Luka Garza, a Kofi Coburn, some of these plethora of bigs that we have in the Big Ten.
20-point advantage for Maryland, and the Peacocks break the pressure, and there's a foul. And Mario ends up on top of Nadefo. Hamilton letting Mario know that you can't end up on top of the guy. That's going to get you a foul, and it did.
I'm sure Scholl is happy, though, that Nadefo was underneath him that time.
Yes.
He could land softly.
I'm sure Nadefo was delighted as well. Watson, and the ball tipped away by Darryl Morsell. We've seen that more than a few times from Darryl Morsell in his career.
Oh, that's true. You know, Kevin, we miss having the fans in the stands and whatnot, but one of the things I'm fascinated by is the communication level of each team. You know, the better teams do a great job of communicating.
And that's a huge point of this, too, because, I mean, you've got to create your own energy, you've got to create your own vibe, and a lot of that comes from just being able to talk and communicate on and off the floor.
And so for coaches, and they're listening for guys who maybe aren't getting as much playing time. Are they locked into the game? Are they calling out the plays that they talked about in scouting report? Are they helping their teammates? So there's a lot of things going on right now that you can hear a lot better with no fans in the stands.
Hamilton rejected inside. Here comes Banks the other way for the Peacocks. Back out in the corner to Nadefo. And the three off the miss, rebounded by Jarius Hamilton. That's his fourth board.
I like the way that Dallas Watson of St. Peter's looks. He hasn't looked for a shot, but he's really been aggressive with the ball. He set up his teammates for some open looks. They just haven't converted.
3-second violation on Mario.
24, Dante
Scott will check in for Maryland. And Mario will head to the bench.
You know, I've had this thing with hair throughout the Big Ten players, Kevin. And I'm looking at Maryland right now. A little bit more, I don't know, a little tame. I don't see anybody. Yeah, a little. There you go. A little bit more subdued, like Morsell going with the more traditional fade, and Wiggins maybe letting it grow out a little bit, but Dante Scott maybe had the most elaborate do so far for the Terrapins.
Not going to give Mark Turgeon any love for his due.
No, me and Mark played against each other, man. I can't give him too much love, even though that's my man.
18 straight winning seasons. Maryland has won 23 or more games 5 of the last 6 years. They finished in the top 3 in this league in 4 of the last 6 seasons.
No, he's done an outstanding job. You talked about it. Everywhere he's been, he's won. I mean, I remember sitting in his office at Wichita State when he was coaching in the Valley. And I remember when he was at Texas A&M. And he's never changed. He doesn't change. He just, matter of fact, loves his players and really is trying to support them in what they're trying to do.
Well, when he was at the Valley, that's when the Valley was the Valley we all remember. Creighton in the Valley. Southern Illinois was rolling. You had Northern Iowa. I mean, you had some real programs going at their peak when he was there. And everywhere he's gone, as you said, Stephen, he's figured out a way to win.
Yeah, he does a great job of locating the players that can fit the way that he wants to play. But he's also able to adjust the way that he wants to play based on his personnel. As you can see this year with this Maryland team doing a lot of 2-2-1 full court pressure.
20-point advantage for Maryland against the Peacocks of St. Peter's. St. Peter's, their only loss, a 1-point loss at St. John's in a game that they had a 4-point lead late, should have won the game. And we were talking with Shaheen Holloway yesterday, and I mentioned that I thought they should have won the game. He did not disagree with my assessment that they should have won it. That was a painful one, but an opportunity to learn. But when you fall 1 point short of getting a win against a Big East opponent in your very first game, well, that's one you'd love to have another opportunity with.
Yeah, I agree. And I think on the positive side of that, you see that St. Peter's has carried over their defensive prowess from the end of last season when they made such a big jump. So now that Shaheen Holloway, he's got his culture instilled, and it stings when you lose a game like that, but you can also build off of that momentum.
8 players from last year's team averaged 5 to 9 points per game for that St. Peter's team. Just balance across the board. You shut one guy down, somebody else is going to step up. And they brought back 7 players this year who appeared in over 20 games last year. So this is a team picked 3rd in the MAAC this season. They finished 2nd last year. They're in the upper echelon now of their league, and that was not the case before Shaheen Holloway got there.
I agree. And you know, you got to be able to sell college players on, okay, you may not play 30, 32 minutes a game. You may have to play 18 to 24 for us to be successful. That takes time. That's not very easy to do in today's microwave society. And so the fact that he's got a lot of players that have bought into playing less minutes but can play as hard as they can when they're on the floor, the record speaks for itself.
The Defo with a nice play inside. Here's Banks. Maryland got back quickly defensively. The kick into the corner, and Drame with a travel. St. Peter's turnover number 10. Each team with 10 first-half turnovers.
You expect to see this early in the season, especially with the way that these two teams play. Put a lot of pressure on you, speeds you up.
Maryland has cooled off from their 89% shooting percentage, Stephen, down to 75% from the floor in this first half.
Morsell, he recognized it late. He was open, but had his back turned to the basket.
Watson the push ahead, running up the floor. Nadefo is fouled. And KC Nadefo will head to the free throw line.
Maryland fell on Dante Scott.
First personal on Scott. Excuse me, Steve.
No problem, Kevin. St. Peter's doesn't have a Luka Garza, obviously. But this is a good test for Maryland because Michigan State will push.
Yep. Iowa
will push. Just like this. It will get the ball up the floor as fast as they can. So this is a good test for Maryland.
More to come for Nadefo. Keith Hart returns to the Terrapin lineup with his 11 first-half points. 4:18 to go in the first half. Maryland hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. St. Peter's 0 for their last 6 from the floor. So we've seen this a couple of times in this first half, these little lulls that you expect to see, especially in non-conference season. We're only in game 4 for each of these teams. Nobody knows when you're playing. It's just hey, it's Wednesday. Let's play St. Peter's on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. It's thinking like 3 hours ago, hey, St. Peter's, y'all want to play? You want to play today?
It's kind of like when you were a kid, you'd go outside like, who wants to play? Who's out here on the court ready to go?
That's right. And that's all that matters, that you get a chance to compete with that jersey on.
In the corner. The three is off the mark from Morcell. Rebound battle 4-1. The battle by Maryland and Dante Scott. And a timeout on the floor. 34-16. Maryland in control with 3:53 remaining in the first. One guy that Maryland was hoping would take a jump this year, Hakeem Hart. So far, we've seen that jump from the youngster.
Yeah, he's done a good job of being aggressive, not forcing bad looks. He's gotten really high-quality looks, but he's being aggressive. Sign of his confidence elevating the hard work he's put in the offseason.
Well, I love to see that big smile on his face at the end of hitting that bucket. You know, we talk a lot about this in these empty arenas, but you've got to generate your own energy as a team, and it takes something like that. You get the energy fired up, you get the big smile, the fist pump. That's a good sign for a team that you're able to create that energy at a time where it's not as always easy to have that energy. You're in the middle of the afternoon playing an empty arena against a non-conference foe.
No, you know what, Kevin? I think these coaches tell these players, look, when you started playing the game, did you have anybody in the stands?
That's right.
You just want to get out on the court and play. And if you can bring guys back to that little boy feeling of just wanting to get on the court and do your best and have some fun. These guys were dancing before the game. They were trying to be loose. Like you said, that energy that you can bring as a team is paramount in this situation of trying to be safe during COVID.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have to find that fun and energy you had when you were a kid. But when you got out on the court for the love of the game because you just wanted to go run with your friends.
That's right.
And now you're doing that again. You're just out running with your friends.
That's right.
We just happen to have a bird's eye view.
Yep.
20-point lead for Maryland. St. Peter's going back to work. Banks, the three, off the heel, and the rebound for Dante Scott, and a foul. St. Peter's shooting just 24% in this first half, while Maryland's at 67% for the ball game.
And Maryland, once again, that time, the ball for St. Peter's is just moving around the perimeter. They're having a very difficult time of getting in the paint. So Maryland doing a good job of keeping the ball out of the paint and then closing on the jump shooters.
One more for Dante Scott, who has 8 in this first half. 11 for Hart, 8 for Ayala, 8 for Scott, 4 for Hamilton to lead the way for Maryland. And a 38-16 lead. St. Peter's desperate to find some offense. They're just 1 for their last 9 from the floor.
And you just can't pierce the initial level of the defense from Maryland. Once again, I think it's one thing to watch film and the coach tells you something, then it's another thing when these 6'5", 6'6" guards are in your face and you're trying to make a pass.
18 combined field goals, 20 combined turnovers in kind of an uneven first half. Deep jumper is good. That's a 2, but it is a made field goal. First one in over 4.5 minutes.
And you saw Turgeon was fine with that. The ball never got inside the three-point line, and you take a contested look, you can live with that all day.
Yeah, you're not going to lose a lot of games if that's the shot that your opponent is forced to take all day long. Morcell has it picked away. Good hands by St. Peter's, picking it out of there with Silvera. And now Watson will skip it across to Banks. Banks' 3 not going to go. Scott with rebound number 7 of this first half.
Now, where can Maryland get the advantage in this particular situation?
On the Scott drive was one area, and Drame commits the foul.
That was really interesting what Maryland did that time. They saw Scott coming up the floor. It was almost a read, Kevin. It's almost a one-on-one clear out. The rest of his teammates fanned out along the three-point line, gave him room to break down the defense. That's very interesting. Take another look. Watch his teammates. You see they all are like, okay, Dante's going one-on-one. There was nothing said. It was a simple read. But I think Mark Turgeon is giving this young man a lot more responsibility this year to lead the break. That's the second time we've seen him get the rebound and push.
Well, he played not only forward in high school, but point guard and shooting guard. So they're confident with him. And Mark Turgeon will tell you, he was a tremendous passer coming out of high school, and they'd love to see him show off those passing skills, But you got to lead the ball up the floor every once in a while to be that passer.
Yeah, I think so. Again, elevating confidence. His numbers indicate as such. He's playing in good rhythm.
Good rhythm jumper there from Marty Silvera to get St. Peter's on the board from deep. He has 5.
Silvera's been active on both ends of the floor. He's come up with a couple loose balls and taking his opportunities when they appear.
Hart fakes the 3, steps in for a deep 2, and Hakeem Hart has 13 first-half points and a timeout taken by Maryland. 1:42 remaining in the first half, and the Terrapins enjoying the 19-point first-half lead. Hakeem Hart's been really good in this first half, Stephen.
He has, and I thought that last play there, he was going to make a mistake and take it too far in, but he was good with the 2-point shot. I like that. Watch this. Up fake. You think he's going to go to the rim. He stopped short of the secondary defender. That's just good basketball. And in the day where pace and space in the NBA, they don't want you to shoot anything but a 3 or a rim run. College players watch the NBA, try to emulate it, but that mid-range game is always going to be key in the game of basketball.
And that mid-range game is one of the reasons why Hakeem Hart is leading the way with 13 points this afternoon. Dante Scott with 9, Eric Ayala with 8. But I'm with you, Stephen. One dribble, a pump fake, anything you can do to buy a little space to get that mid-range jumper to fall, makes my old heart happy.
You know what I mean? Me and you both. And you don't get your body banged because you're trying to get to the rim. You know, it demoralizes the defense because usually late in the shot clock, like that one.
Hanks with the jumper. Again, a mid-range jumper.
See, young people that want to play at this level, it's okay to watch the NBA and dream of being an NBA player or a WNBA player. However, 99% of you are going to have to go to college. And so it's all right to have a mid-range game at the college level.
And by the way, a lot of the WNBA and NBA players have that mid-range game. They don't necessarily have to show it all the time because of the nature of the game, but I promise you, if the mid-range game were being emphasized, LeBron James would show up with a mid-range jumper that he could hit probably on a pretty regular basis. We saw it from Michael Jordan as his career evolved as well.
I agree, Kevin, and I tell you what, for all the people that talk about the game at the next level, at the NBA level, all that pace and space stuff, when the Heat and the Lakers got to the NBA Finals, we saw what the game was. It wasn't all the three-point shooters and runouts and all that. It was half-court execution.
Aaron Wiggins, good at the line. 42-23 Maryland, 1:02 remaining in this first half.
I don't think St. Peter's has played that poorly. It's just they cannot figure out how to penetrate the initial level of the Terrapins defense.
Maryland has hit 68% of their shots. They've hit 12 free throws in this first half. Jumper rims out into the arms of Aquan Smart. 36 seconds until halftime. Hart will dump it down. Mario, back it goes to Hart, a little bit strong with that 3. And Silvera with the rebound once more. And St. Peter's can hold for the final shot of this first half.
Wow, Silvera has Jarris Hamilton on him. Jarris Hamilton he's up forward.
Silvera with 6 seconds until halftime. The Defo on the drive and a blocking foul. And the Defo is going to head to the line with 4.4 seconds remaining in this first half. He's just 1 for 4 at the stripe this afternoon.
You don't see a lot of teams do this, Kevin. They gave St. Peter's the look of a man-to-man defense, and then they quickly switched the zone. It was good that the Defo took advantage and put pressure on the defense.
3 points today for Nadefo, but 1 for 5 at the line. He came in 9 of 13 at the free throw line, so at least compared to this season, an uncharacteristically bad first half.
I also think, Kevin, that he hasn't seen the size of Jarris Hamilton, Galen Smith, Shoal Merrill before this game. That size has a little bit a factor on your wind and converting your free throws.
I was gonna say, he's been working a lot in this first half. Misses in both. That one short. Hamilton the rebound. 1 second to go. The three is on the way for Wiggins. No good. Halftime is here, and a half dominated by the home team. Maryland up 42-23 at the break, shooting 65% from the floor in the first half. So the Terrapins will head to the locker room enjoying a 42-23 lead. All smiles coming out. Hakeem Hart has made sure those smiles have stayed there. He's got 13 first half points to pace the Terrapins up 19 at the break. Plenty to smile about if you're a Maryland fan right now, and they're smiling. 42-23. Maryland with the lead over St. Peter's alongside Stephen Bardo. I'm Kevin Kugler. The first half stats, 65% shooting in the first half for Maryland. 12 of 16 at the line, 15 points off the bench, 12 fast break points. And the 12 fast break points are a good sign. It was somewhat uneven, 11 turnovers for Maryland, 10 for St. Peter's. But Maryland was able to cash in on some of those live ball turnovers and turn them into points.
And they need to, because when you play the kind of defense that Maryland does, you want to create those opportunities so you get easier offense, so you don't have to rely so much in the half-court execution.
Underway here in this second half. This is Matthew Lee, rotates it around to Dallas Watson for St. Peter's. Lee, the bounce down low. Trying to turn the corner. Tough shot for Drame, and out of bounds to Maryland. Fousseyni Drame been held in check so far today, Stephen. Came in averaging 15 points per game, just 5 points so far for St. Peter's.
Yeah, Drame's had pretty good looks. It's just finishing over the top of bigger opponents that you're not accustomed to. Changing your shot, trying to jump higher than you normally do, kind of throws you off.
Jarius Hamilton working against Drame. Hamilton, the jump stop in the paint, a block, but a foul. Nadefo came over. He can't believe that he's called for the foul, his second.
He may have a point here, Kevin. He looked like pretty good help defense here.
Jarius Hamilton shooting 2.
I don't know. That's pretty good defense by Nadefo there. But it was interesting. Jarius Hamilton, he wasn't giving that rock up.
No.
He started right, Crab dribble left, lost his initial defender, so he wanted to get one up.
Well, Mark Turgeon said that he tells him every day, pretend you're a two-guard. Pretend you're a two-guard. He pretended like he was a two-guard there. He's listening to his head coach.
Yeah, he pretended like a two-guard, and Andrew Toney and everybody else on that one.
Matthew Lee, his pass deflected away and taken away. Turnover number 11 for the Peacocks. Ayala trying to get it inside, and Terrapins turn it right back over. That's 12 for Maryland.
That's a situation where Smith is new with Maryland. Ayala and Smith are going to get there. They'll figure it out by conference play, but that time, Ayala trying to hit Smith with a pass, and Smith wasn't ready.
Watson. The jump into the corner to Banks. Banks' shot is good, and a foul. How about Darrell Banks from deep? And he'll go to the line for one more.
Yeah, Darrell Banks has been very aggressive. And his teammates have been looking for him on the perimeter. Ooh-wee. Did someone open the door? Or I understand why Hamilton was a little bit upset there. Like a good closeout without contact.
And a 4-point play for Darrell Banks. 44-27 Maryland. St. Peter's continuing to put the pressure on all the way up the floor.
See how strong Daryl Morcell was? They tried to crowd him. He bent down, Kevin, and stayed strong and fought through the contact and made a strong pass.
And then that pass intercepted by Nadefo. Quickly ahead to Matthew Lee. Back-to-back threes for the Peacocks, who are within 14.
Ladies and gentlemen, we told you about this Peacocks team. They're not going to stop pressuring. So if Maryland gets lax with the basketball, Peacocks will take advantage of it.
Ayala backs Takes it up to the logo. Now the three from Hamilton. And the swish for Jarius Hamilton from deep.
It's nice offense there. Two-man basketball. Rotating away from the defense for an open look.
Hamilton 5 of 10 from 3 in this young season. Again, pretend like you're a two-guard. In the corner, that shot rims off to Hamilton. 9.6 rebounds for Jarius Hamilton today. Morsell right into the teeth of the defense, can't get the roll, and it's out of bounds. It'll stay on this end.
Morsell getting a little bit aggravated with himself there. Did a really good job of that, playing off 2 feet on that jump stop. Just didn't finish at the rim.
0 for 3 this afternoon for Morsell. And that runner drops for Hakeem Hart. He's got 15.
Hart got hit in the head on that release. He's looking around at Larry Serrato like, I know you saw that.
Maryland back up by 19. Their largest lead is 22 in this ballgame. The no-look and the two-hand stuff by Nadefo. Nice pass from Dallas Watson.
Excellent job of St. Peter's now getting the tempo a little bit more to their liking. Quick passes. They're getting out of initial level of pressure and finding some success.
Set up, just 15 to shoot by the time they can really get set up in the half court. Morsell working it out to Hamilton with an open look, and Hamilton hits again. He's got 12 and a timeout with Maryland up 20, 52 to 32, and Jarius Hamilton getting it going for Maryland.
Play like a two.
Still to come on the Big Ten Network, the huge slate of hoops continues with the Spartans, Boilermakers, and Gophers in action. That's all still to come tonight on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. With Stephen Bardo, Kevin Kugler, Xfinity Center, College Park, Maryland, where the Terrapins trying to move to 4-0 on this young season, up 20 with 16:28 remaining in the ballgame.
Well, they were outstanding offensively in the first half as well as defensively, and it doesn't appear so that's going to let up anytime soon. St. Peter's will continue to press and try to force turnovers, but I'm sure Mark Turgeon and his staff emphasized being strong with the basketball. And if you've got to think about making a pass or a play, then hold it. A lot of times we saw Morsell, cough up a couple passes, just trying to do too much. Aaron Wiggins, same thing.
And a takeaway by Hakeem Hart to the rim, and he'll go to the free throw line for a pair. Hakeem Hart with Maryland's 6th steal of the ball game, and he heads to the free throw line.
Again, look at that length. Hart is sitting there talking to Galen Smith and Jarius Hamilton, looking them eye to eye almost. And so you got a lot of size. I keep saying that, but it's reminiscent of teams I've played on and other teams I've seen in the Big Ten, where you have so much flexibility when guys are similar height. You can do a lot of things.
Well, DeAndre Haynes talking about that press they installed. There's a variety of different ones that they've put in, and just having the ability for a young man like Hakeem Hart back there with his length and his defensive ability to disrupt as somebody else is bringing it up the floor, and what he can do then at the free throw line or at the rack, that's an attribute that this Maryland team can only build on as they go into conference play.
Agreed. And now you see him at the top of a kind of a diamond and one. Oh, I got beat on the backside.
And a one-hand stuff by Nadefo.
I don't know how much more Mark will go to that diamond and one. Boy, it's hard giving up a dunk on the other end.
4 minutes gone nearly in this second half, and a foul coming up the floor on Noah Kamba.
That's rare. Excuse me, Kevin. Noah Kamba. He's got the nice dreads, but he's got the serious line, too. He's got the lining. You don't see that combination. That's a little unique there. So he bailed me out on my hair thing there. I always got to pick somebody out.
That's right. It takes a little extra time to do that combo.
That's right. Got a pretty good barber there he's working with. Or maybe not.
No, maybe not. Maybe it's him.
Yeah, he's probably got skills to do it himself.
Watson accelerating to the rim. That won't go. Offensive rebound is there. The putback is good, and a chance for one more at the line. after the Maryland foul, and that takes us to a media timeout. 15:39 remaining in this second half. St. Peter's to the line when we return. 54-36 Maryland, 15:39 remaining in this second half. Start of a very busy day here on the Big Ten Network. Michigan State, Purdue, Minnesota, all to come today on the network. Detroit and Michigan State follow us with Valparaiso and Purdue, North Dakota and Minnesota, the nightcap. In other words, you don't need to have your remote in hand today, unless you just want to mute the announcers like many of you already have. You don't need your remote in hand because you're set on the Big Ten Network for the rest of the day.
It's great basketball coming up, too. Looking forward to Newman and Edey from Purdue, the young combination that seems to be doing well. And Zach Edey, big man I guess we can call Purdue, huh?
Yeah, anybody have any questions about Matt Painter's ability to get big men ready to go? If you haven't been paying attention.
For the last 15
right,
years.
Exactly, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then don't sleep on that North Dakota-Minnesota game tonight. North Dakota has a lot of incentive every time they play their border friends from Minnesota. And that's an interesting game.
Yeah, Minnesota, I mean, they really relied on Marcus Carr a lot to score, Kevin. They could develop a little bit more consistency. Booth Gotch, I really like that young man. He's going to be fun to watch. You know, I had to get it in during the telecast. He did something, I was like, gotcha, Lisa. I had to get it in.
Did she groan audibly, or did she just send you a text that said groan?
No, she shot me a look through the camera.
Yep.
Just like, it's like, try again.
Hakeem Hart to inbound for Maryland.
This is an underrated part of the game. Out of bounds. Can you score off an out of bounds play? And that time looked like Maryland was just trying to get the ball inbound, but in Big Ten play, when the margin of error is so slim, those opportunities can be huge.
Offensive rebound. Another opportunity for Wiggins, who has it poked free. Able to secure it and then draws the foul. Already the 6th foul against St. Peter's in this second half.
Aaron Wiggins is struggling to handle the basketball today. St. Peter's has got him sped up a little bit. You don't see him handle a lot. I know he has the ability. These Peacocks, they get in under your shirt a little bit.
Ayala on the drive, high off the window, won't go. The tip try not going to go from Galen Smith. And St. Peter's the other way. And then an interception, turnover for St. Peter's, their 13th. Here's Scott. Tough skip into the corner to Wiggins. Wiggins jumper off the back iron, and the rebound to Silvera. Banks, foul. Will reach in.
Maryland getting a little lazy that time, getting back. Aaron Wiggins, if the ball is advanced past you have to drop to the level of the basketball to help your teammates defensively, because St. Peter's, they're going to come at you every time. Not like they're trying to pull the ball out.
Oh, now they're scoring off an out-of-bounds play like you were talking about on the other end. Can you score? That's an emphatic way to score.
Shot by Casey coming through, and Mark Turgeon will have that on the tape tomorrow as they go to their game.
Back-to-back games for the Terrapins. Again, you get the games when you can get them, especially in this non-conference portion of the schedule. They were supposed to be playing George Mason right now. COVID issue. Seemingly 5 minutes later, St. Peter's was on the schedule for today. They'll play back-to-back games, will Maryland, playing tomorrow. And you've got to be flexible with your scheduling. If you want to get the maximum amount of games in, you've just got to be ready to go at any given time.
That's right. And we're going to see this throughout the season, Kevin, that the coolness has been stripped away. There's no fans. You know, you have to generate your own energy. And so take it back to when you're a young boy and just wanted to get on the court and play and get better every day. And you know what? We might have practice today. We might have a game tomorrow. I have a game tomorrow. I have to, you know, have the day off the day after that. Just be flexible, but understand that when you can put on a Maryland Terrapins jersey, that's a privilege, not a right.
Well, these Maryland players are not worried about back-to-back days. You do that all the time when you're in a college tournament or when you're in the AAU, high school. That's kind of par for the course, to use the vernacular from another sport, but it's what you're used to doing.
That's right.
You know what? It's another opportunity to play a basketball game. You're going to jump at it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'd rather practice them. I mean, I'd rather play the games than practice. And I love to practice, but I mean, there's nothing like the game.
Omar Dihame, 6'10" freshman from Senegal, off the bench for St. Peter's.
24, Omar Dihame. Enters for St. Peter's.
And there is a technical foul assessed.
Oh, he threw
my.
in Defo. And Defo's thrown out of the game?
The Defo has been ejected from this ball game. The Defo, with 9 points, 3 rebounds, has just been thrown out of the game.
Oh, he got frustrated with one of those calls. I know that we saw in the first half, it looked like he had a clean block on Jerry's Hamilton shot that got called a foul. So I think this has been building a little bit.
Well, you saw the signal from the official. There was Courtney Green, I believe, that ejected Ndefo, and there he heads to the locker room.
So he probably wants a call there, but didn't receive it. And Courtney Green was pretty emphatic about, young fella, you're getting an early walk to the bench, or to the locker room, excuse me.
There he goes. See if we can see as this built up. So that's the foul. Now it built all the way to the other end of the floor because that's where it occurred. And then Ndefo got to that other end, and it was Courtney Green, the official, who was down on the other end. And I believe it's Courtney Green who eventually ruled the ejection. Didn't see anything there in that review of him walking up the floor.
Yeah, I think you're right. He probably got to the free throw line and kind of voiced his opinion, and Courtney Green heard it. You know, like we said, with no fans in the stands, you can hear everything.
So a 20-point advantage. Ndefo gone, averaging 13 points per game, and St. Peter's in even more trouble now than they were just a few moments ago, as Edwards' three won't go. Offensive rebound, Dihame, and that is a 2 for the big freshman.
And sometimes teams respond in a positive manner when you get one of your better players thrown out of the game. Other guys have an opportunity to step up. Let's see what the Peacocks bring.
Scott will enter it inside. Marial cannot connect on that short jumper. Silvera will push it up the floor for St. Peter's. Rame knifing inside and a foul. Let's go back to the Ndefo. This is where he's getting subbed out, and he must have said something as he walked by. So the technical foul occurs, and whatever it was he said was enough to send him to the showers. And obviously, I'm not sure even if we were in the building, Stephen, we would be able to have heard what was said, but clearly what was said was enough for Courtney Green to send him out.
Yeah, and Courtney Green, all three of these officials today, Larry Serrato, Donnie Epley, and Courtney Green, to me, they have really good personalities for the game. What do I mean by that? They don't get too upset. They don't get too testy, unless it's March like everybody else. But they're not quick to tee players or coaches up. So Ndefo probably said something inappropriate.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Larry is a first responder. So there's very little that is going to happen on a basketball court that is going to surprise Larry Serrato, one of our three officials today. And is usually pretty even keel.
Yep. Yep.
One of our favorites, just a good guy. All three of these guys, good guys. Donnie Epley, Courtney Green, but whatever was said, more than enough.
Boy,
Larry.
it was no hesitation either. Yeah, Larry, we said it off the air, Kevin. I think Larry has more fun than any official in college basketball. He's smiling. He's having fun with the players, having fun with the coaches. I've seen coaches just berate him. And he sits up there and smiles and listens, and then he goes on about his business.
He's not quite as calm when the broadcasters berate him, but we try to limit that.
No, we try to stay on his good side.
That's right.
I want to be able to go to Pittsburgh and be in peace.
Rebound yanked in by Dante Scott. 17-point advantage for Maryland, under 12 minutes remaining in this second half, and an offensive foul. That will go against the Terrapins, and that will turn it back over to the Peacocks after the timeout in College Park. Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Some of the Hall of Famers of Maryland basketball days gone by. Gary Williams, of course, head coach in the Hall of Fame, and a young man that, when you think about turning a franchise one way or another, the tragic death of Len Bias took the Celtics franchise in a completely different direction. I would have loved to have seen, I know you share this, what he could have done at the next level, because he had all the skills to be a multiple-time All-Star. I
totally agree, and his athleticism and his strength at the college level was unprecedented during that time. You know, he's joined a long list of Maryland greats in this basketball-crazed program. Lefter Drizel back in the day used to put the hex on guys at the free throw line. Telling you, man.
Well, you talk about a guy who had a little bit of everything. Mid-range game, high flyer.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's Jordan. He's jumping over.
Yeah, that's not just some guy that's out there with him.
Yeah, no, when you talk to those players that played against him back in that day, we see Grievous Vasquez, Steve Blake, Lonnie Baxter, Juan Dixon, and then Lucas. I mean, this Maryland program, they have high expectations, and you know it's understandable based on the type of talent that has graced this program.
Those high expectations sometimes cause some grumbles toward the current head coach, despite the fact that he has finished in the top 3 of America's toughest conference, the Big Ten, in 4 of the last 6 years.
You know what I tell Turge when I'm messing with him? You haven't had a check bounce yet, have you? Yeah, it's okay.
Right now, his offense a little bit stagnant. 0 for their last 10 from the floor. Maryland still up by 17 in a comfortable position, but with 11:06 to go in the second half, plenty to work on for Maryland.
No doubt. And early in the season, we've got to remember that you're going to see periods of time when teams struggle to score. They throw the ball all over the gym. They're still trying to work out some issues. And Aaron Wiggins really struggling this afternoon. Not making that first one. Turge would like to see him get one to drop.
And Wiggins cannot connect there either.
No, that's a confidence thing. You missed the first one long and the second one short. You're inside your head.
4 for 7 at the line, 0 for 2 from the floor. And Aaron Wiggins had started off averaging 13 points per game, doubles in all 3 games this season, but just today that rhythm has not been able to come for the Big Ten 6th Man of the Year last year.
It might be a situation, Kevin, where we talked about that uncertainty at the beginning of the game. Guys like rituals. Guys like to, okay, we're going to watch film here, and then we're going to go through our walkthrough here. But now, with the changing of opponents due to COVID, just have to, as DeAndre Haynes told us yesterday, just have to focus on yourself a lot in these scenarios.
Maryland has missed their last 10 field goals, 18 points this half, 10 of them on free throws. So the offense has gone a little cold here in this second half after a red-hot first half as Morcell rejected inside by Dihame, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called, diving for the loose ball. You had Jarius Hamilton down there matched up against Daryl Banks, and Banks picks up the foul.
Banks is like, wait a minute. That was on me?
Jarius Hamilton shooting 2.
2 free throws, that's well over the limit. 12 fouls in the second half. St. Peter's has been whistled 25 times in this ball game. And free throw attempt number 30 for Maryland in this game is good. 23 for 30 at the line for the Terrapins, who are shooting just 20% in the second half. 3 for 15 from the floor. Scoring for the most part has happened at the line. 11 second half points at the charity stripe.
It's a mark of a good team that can continue to score, even though there's a lid on that basket.
Silvera wants to go inside, can't get it there. Now he'll drive, and that shot blocked by Wiggins and out of bounds.
I'm impressed with Dante Scott that time. You know, you had Silvera breaking him down off the bounce, but he stayed in really good position, did not foul, and allowed his secondary teammate, defender, to come and make the play.
Well, he's got to play hard, and he's got to play well because it's his birthday. So, you know, you don't get your presents on your birthday unless you come out and put a good show on the court.
I like that. Who doesn't want to play on their birthday?
Hey, after everything 2020 has brought, any day you're playing is a good day indeed. Ayala's 3 no good, and the rebound to Drame.
Amen to that.
Silvera will work it around now to Daryl Banks. Banks on the penetration, trying to dish it off to Dihame, and it's tipped out of bounds.
Well, St. Peter's continues to do what they do, work the ball around the perimeter and try to get a crease in the defense to get into that paint area. We've seen them concentrate on that a little bit more here in the second half.
On the baseline, Hassan Drame, and an offensive foul. Turnover back to Maryland on that offensive foul. And with 9:26 to go, the Terrapins back to work, shooting just 18.8% for you sticklers for detail in the second half. And then a foul in the backcourt on Silvera, and we'll march to the other end for 2 free throws.
See, the game has gotten chippy. Drame and I believe it was Dante Scott the last time they went to huddle. They kind of bumped each other. So both teams getting chippy, and the veteran officiating crew trying to like rein that in.
Already 1 ejection. Casey Nadefo kicked out of the ball game not too long ago for St. Peter's. And 1 more free throw coming for Eric Ayala.
We saw Matthew Lee and Eric Ayala kind of exchanging pleasantries earlier in the game, and resulted in Ayala coming down with an and-one dunk.
Well, and Stephen, how about this? Maryland with a 19-point lead. That was their lead at halftime. They are 3 of 16 in the second half, and they've played St. Peter's even thanks to 13 points at the foul line.
Yes, you know, those are attributes you need to win Big Ten games.
Find ways to score when the offense isn't going. And they've not had much of this season. We've talked about, especially in the first half, what Maryland has done in first halves this year, shooting over 60% 3 straight games and going to the rim. That'll break an 0 for 12 spell. Dante Scott with the 2-hand hammer.
Ooh, look at the look of bewilderment on his teammates' faces, because they didn't think Dante Scott had this kind of hops. Philly's finest turns a corner, comes to the rim with some authority. Dante Scott. Yeah, I could do that too. That's impressive.
No matter how you look at it, it's impressive. All angles. 1 more free throw to come after the Maryland foul on Morcell, his 3rd.
He's giving his team a present as opposed to being on the receiving end that time.
That's right. Happy birthday to the rim. Aaron Wiggins with the rebound. Hey, it's 65-45. 8:42 remaining in the second half. They all can't be comedic stylings. Ayala will back it out to Hamilton. Jarius Hamilton's three won't go. And the rebound to St. Peter's.
Nice recovery defensively by the Terrapins that time.
Brake will back it out now to Kamba. Banks on the bounce up to Drame. Shot clock at 10. In the corner, break for three. And the rebound tipped right into the hands of St. Peter's Drame. And Fousseyni Drame will go to the line after the foul.
The two Drame brothers, you could say a lot about them, but they play hard. They go after every loose ball. They don't care if it's Jarius Hamilton, Galen Smith, Dante Scott, Shoal Merrill. They don't care who's in the paint. They're coming at you.
Not much seems to daunt them, and that's not surprising when you see guys with international experience like the Drame brothers have, both part of Mali's under-19 FIBA World Cup team. They took them to the championship game. Fousseyni Drame averaged 12 points, nearly 10 rebounds in those games. Hassan Drame, 11 points and 7 rebounds a game. So this is some high-level experience that you now bring to your college team.
And isn't it great to get twin brothers that can give you some stability on the front line, where a lot of teams in the MAAC, they struggle with size. And so when you've got a pair of guys like this, it's a big bonus.
Nice feed from Scott to Hamilton. Jarius Hamilton has done some nice things today for this Maryland team, Stephen. 15.7 rebounds.
And he's got a nice build to him. I mean, he's active, athletic, and strong.
Three falls for Daryl Banks. He's got 9. 7:22 to go in this one. 67-49. Maryland headed towards win number 4 on this young season.
Eric Ayala better be careful. He's going to get whiplash. Trying to draw the foul there on the contact.
Scott, deep jumper is good. The 2 for Dante Scott, who's heating up. He's got 14.
So we've seen Scott do it all. Dunk at the rim, face-up jumper, crab dribble, post moves, mid-range jumper. Making nice dimes as well, so showing everything.
13 assists as a team. Scott with 3 of those 13, and that'll take us to a timeout in College Park. Maryland by 20, 6:47 to go. When we're done here in Maryland, coming up, Detroit at 8th-ranked Michigan State. Joshua Langford is not in the starting lineup for Michigan State. Head coach Tom Izzo saying on his pregame radio show that Langford has a sore knee. He was out for warm-ups, but could sit out to rest after having a procedure earlier this week. Gabe Brown starting in Joshua Langford's place, and you certainly hope for the Spartans that Joshua Langford is not starting that injury cycle again. That young man has been through a lot over the last couple of years trying to get healthy.
He has, Kevin, and his presence with this ball club means so much in terms of his seniority and his leadership. But these guys have been outstanding, especially on the road at Duke. That was an impressive victory by Michigan State.
20-point advantage for Maryland here. 6:40 remaining in this second half. Kevin Kugler alongside Stephen Bardo, starting a very busy day on the Big Ten Network. Basketball aplenty. And the turnover. Pass intercepted by Banks. Ahead it goes to Kamba, and Kamba has it tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Peacocks.
You see how fast the Peacocks turn a turnover into an opportunity at the rim. Maryland fortunate enough to knock that out.
15 Maryland turnovers today. Although a little better in the second half, taking care of the basketball. Banks on the drive, goes high off the window to get the 2. He's got 11.
It's nice recognition. Banks knowing that Dante Scott guarded him one-on-one. The rest of the Peacocks spread out on the three-point line to give the driving lane.
for room on the baseline. Ayala is fouled.
St. Peter's foul on
Rusini Drame with the personal. This Maryland team right back out on the court tomorrow against James Madison. So they'll get done with this game and they'll truck on to James Madison. Getting a road game a little earlier than had anticipated, but it all goes with the scheduling challenges in 2020. You play when you can play, and Mark Turgeon's going to take his team on the road for a game tomorrow. And then, as of now, they're off until Wednesday when they face Clemson in the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Well, it was interesting because Mike Bray put out a tweet, right, asking everybody, hey, we need to schedule some games. And that could have easily been Mark Turgeon doing the same thing. As much turnover as they've had in their schedule.
We had our Big Ten Network team ready to go. Stephen Bardos, Sean Morris, Robbie Hummel. But when they found out Brandon Gaudin, Kevin Kugler were on the team, they wanted nothing to do with that matchup. So they declined.
Oh, man. I can see you and Brandon in the backcourt doing damage.
in the backcourt, yeah. Way in the backcourt. Like off the court. Maybe in the hallway.
Well, you wouldn't need much. Robbie can still play, man.
Hey,
so.
You know what? If you're going to draft a play-by-play announcer, you better be drafting Lisa Byington first.
Oh, well, okay, good point. Very good point.
Hart inside off the window, and a chance for one more for Hakeem Hart. What an afternoon this young man's had. 23 points, looking for one more.
Just a good cut to the rim. Strong enough to finish through contact. Nice job by Aaron Wiggins on a slight look away. Get the ball to Hakeem where he can do something with it.
Well, DeAndre Haynes telling us yesterday, this young man has another gear, and he's been working hard. He's been going in. He's been getting extra shots. That work's paying off. 23 points on the afternoon for Hart. 26 points on the afternoon for Hart. Hakeem Hart getting it done today.
Boy, this is one of the beautiful things about basketball. When you got a teammate that's hot and your teammates start looking for him, it is pretty to watch.
St. Peter's with the timeout. More look at the Hart three.
Now this is a power forward making plays, ladies and gentlemen. That's the third time Dante Scott's gotten in the paint, reverse pivot, found an open jump shooter. That's a practice jump shot right there.
Put that pass right in the shooting pocket for Hakeem Hart. Scott's played a whale of a game to go with Hart's game. 14 points, 11 rebounds, and now 4 assists for Dante Scott.
And DeAndre Haynes was telling us those are two of the players that have made the biggest improvement from year to year. He's really excited about both of their performances and progress to this point.
If you are tuning in saying neither of these teams look like Detroit or Michigan State, you are exactly right. The Michigan State game just getting underway. You can check it out on the Fox Sports app, and as soon as we're done in College Park, we'll get you right to East Lansing for Detroit and Michigan State. Spartans getting back on the floor this afternoon. That's game 2 of 4 today on the network. There's Mike Davis. You see him in the 2 box, 3rd season as the head coach of Detroit. 7-6 record against Michigan State as head coach. And you're not going to find too many coaches across this country who have played that many games against Michigan State and have a winning record.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mike Davis, a former teammate of mine, a few moons ago. I won't say how long ago, but a few moons ago. And got his Detroit team ready to play one of the better defensive teams in the country, in my opinion. Michigan State, outstanding the other night at Duke.
Yeah, that was as impressive a win as we've seen in college basketball in the early stages of this season. Kamba will back it out into the corner. Drame now steps to the elbow. That jumper's not going to go. Rebound tipped around and controlled by Dante Scott, his 12th rebound of the ball game. Wiggins on the attack.
Where Maryland's team does that really well. You see multiple guys have gotten into the paint. They come to a jump stop.
Wiggins fouled on his way to the rim. You know Aaron Wiggins would love to get it going late, just have a good feeling going into tomorrow's game for Maryland. Still 0 for 2 from the floor.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. Regardless of the score, you got 4 minutes left in this game to right the ship a little bit. Start to look for your shot, see that ball goes to the net, and carry that confidence over 24 hours later.
And Wiggins, who has scored all 5 of his points at the line, does have 4 assists and 2 rebounds, finding ways to help even if the shot's not going.
Well, defensively, I think he can be elite in terms of his length and how savvy he is on that side of the ball.
Hakeem Hart, catch, shoot, 3, 29 for Hakeem Hart today.
See, when you have one of these games, Kevin, you don't have to tell him to get back in the gym. You have these points because you got in the gym.
It is, though, the illustration that coaches love to use. You didn't score 29 by accident.
That's right.
You didn't score 31 by accident. You've been working, and that hard work pays off.
See, now the key, though, you got to keep working. Some guys get a little success, and it goes to the head. I think he's got enough veterans ahead of him that won't allow that to happen.
31 points for Hakeem Hart. 33 points for Hakeem Hart. Every time I mention his point total, he puts 2 more, and I've got to do math, Stephen Bardo.
Hey, that's all right, Kevin, because I know he likes it. The Terrapin fans like this 6'6", agile 2-guard that's getting busy this afternoon, getting to the rim, shooting it from deep. Have yourself a day, young fella.
Michigan State with the early lead over Detroit Mercy in their game. Just about 3 minutes gone in the first half. That game right now on the Fox Sports app and will be on Big Ten Network as soon as we're done in College Park. Tom Izzo off his seat already, so you know that we're already in mid-season form for the head coach. That game on the Fox Sports app, we'll get there just as soon as we're done here. Hakeem Hart, who scored 26 total points in 18 games last season, has 33 points this afternoon, and Maryland up by 30 with 3:07 to play.
So you get a game where you score more points than you did in a whole season. Imagine what's going through that young man's mind. Hopefully he's thinking that this is just the beginning.
Yep.
I can continue to climb this mountain and be a positive attribute. Let me stop while I'm ahead.
Way off the mark there, and the rebound out to Wiggins.
It's kind of like what I was just saying there, way off the mark. I know when I stop. I know when to stop, Kevin.
That's a positive attribute to have as well. Mario inside, left that one short, but a foul. And the big man will go to the line. Dehame working against Mario.
St. Peter's foul on Omar Dehame.
So Mario 3 for 5 at the line on this young season. Will head to the stripe. 2:35 remaining in this second half.
I was just wondering, you know, where'd they find the leg tights that were long enough for Shoal Mario?
Those have to be custom made, right?
Oh my goodness, man! And you know, you would think you'd see some skin on the bottom because they weren't long enough, but those things go all the way down in the shoe.
In the corner, it's Eder looking for the 3, and the rebound for Aquan Smart. Up ahead, the push and the finish for Marcus Dockery, the 6'2 freshman from Washington, D.C.
They have a high hopes for Marcus Dockery. We didn't get a chance to play last game, and a lot of times when you have a veteran front backcourt that's in front of you, you just got to bide your time.
Into the arms of Mario. Wiggins up the floor. Wiggins, the dish. Open is Reese Mona. The 3 not going to go. Mario finds the offensive board. Needs a little help. Mona provides it. He'll go to the line.
Mona getting some good minutes in. Nice cut and received the pass from the big fella.
St. Peter's foul on Marty Silvera.
You know, Kevin, I think this happens a lot in Big Ten basketball where You talk about Michigan State and Iowa, talk about Illinois, but that one team out there that's just consistent and steady is Wisconsin.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Every year.
And they're gonna have a in-state battle today against Marquette. It's one of the more underrated rivalry games that you see in college basketball. But Wisconsin, just consistency in what they do. It's not always pretty, but it's really effective.
(87-54). Maryland in control of this one late as the three falls for Doug Eddard. 33 points, incidentally, for Hakeem Hart, the most for any Maryland player since Diamond Stone had 39 against Penn State back in 2015.
Now think about that. Like Anthony Cowan,
right?
Jalen Stick-Smith, all these players, Kevin Herter.
And it's Hakeem Hart, little used reserve in his freshman year. Roman Catholic High School, and now he was a prolific scorer. He was the Catholic League Player of the Year in his senior season. So this is a young man that played against some really good talent and put up some big-time numbers. But sometimes you get to the college level, and it may take that year to get that next step. And today, that next step has shown up for Hakeem Hart. The bench was ready to explode as Aquan Smart tried to throw it down, and instead he'll go to the line.
You like the young fella. Aquan Smart turns the corner. I think he lost the handle going up a little bit. I like the intent.
And we remind you that when we're done here, you're going to East Lansing. Detroit and Michigan State are underway on the Fox Sports app, but we'll get you there in just a few moments. Maryland by 30 with 58 seconds remaining in this ball game. And the rebound yanked down by Doug Eddard. Tough jumper for Dallas Watson. And it'll go back the other way.
These guys often talk about, they're going to eat up some clock. No, they're letting it fly. And why not?
The three from the top. Aquan Smart on the board with his first three of the day and his first three of his career. Eddard looking to answer. And the rebound out of bounds. It'll stay on this end with 27 seconds to play. Well, Stephen, there'll be plenty of things for Mark Turgeon to look at on film, but you always like to look at those after you've come away with a thorough win, and that's what Maryland's going to have here today.
They have, and I think their defensive effort was stellar. We talked about it. This is a team in St. Peter's that fought at St. John's tooth and nail, so this is a quality ball club. But Maryland did what they needed to do defensively to have this large win.
And that will wrap this one up. Maryland wins it 90-57 for Stephen Bardo and our entire Big Ten Network crew. I'm Kevin Kugler saying so long from College Park. We now send you to East Lansing, Michigan. Jeff Levering and